Hi, and welcome to Let's Talk Money. My name's Sarah Hudson. I'm a finance broker and money coach, and I'm really delighted to bring you this series of video interviews with women talking about how we manage money, debunking some of the myths around money, and sharing our experiences, whether they be good or bad, about how we've made our way in the world according to finance. So let's get started. So today I'd like to introduce to you Maria Davis. I met Maria through networking groups. I think I've known Maria for probably 2 or 3 years now. She's an absolute dynamo, 40 years as a healer and 20 plus years working in business for herself. Maria now supports women to build a business they love while sharing your soul calling. After 2 years of trying to find the right path as a spiritual entrepreneur, Maria has developed spiritual business mentorship services that include her business alchemy formula and processes to support the alchemy of transformation and business. I was fortunate enough to actually share in Maria's alchemy course last year, and I have to say it was absolutely amazing and actually helped push me forward on my journey in my new business. But Maria also has run the New York Marathon. Not once, not twice, but how many times? 3 times. And she lives in Victoria, in the inner suburb of Melbourne, and she has also jumped out of an aeroplane, which is scary. But Maria is an absolute bundle of fun. So welcome, Maria, to Let's Talk Money.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for having me. It's fun to be here.
Absolutely. So I've got a few questions for you about money. And the first one is, what do you remember about money growing up in your household?
Oh, my parents were immigrants from Italy. So they came owing their voyage back to Italy. So it was always hard work. So Dad had 2 jobs I remember from, in my single digits. He worked during the week at a factory and on the weekend at a farm. My mum was a seamstress, so she worked piecework at home, looked after. It was really hard work. But the thing with my parents is they always had cash to buy what they needed to buy, and they always paid their bills on time. So there was always enough. But they worked. The work ethic was really instilled. It was hard work.
I think the immigrants that came to Australia in that period of time, you're roughly the same vintage as I am, and I came out as a 10-pound pom. But the Italian immigrants were something quite remarkable. They were involved in the building of the Snowy mountain hydro scheme and all of that back in the 50s and so on. So, they just had that incredible work ethic, didn't they?
Yeah, they did. And you have to admire them because they came out, they didn't have the language. They had English was their second language, and they just committed themselves and contributed and worked as community and thrived that way. So we always had enough, but it was, coming. I could see my parents were hardworking.
Yeah, absolutely. So when in your business did you first get consistent income?
That's really interesting. It's probably about 3, maybe even 3 or 4 years. And I have been in business for nearly 20 years. But it wasn't until I set up some systems, and I've always had clients. So I've always worked with clients and groups of clients and group programs. So when the group programs came in my early days, oh my God, I was so flush. I had so much money. And then when they stopped, I didn't have any money. So then about 3 or 4 years ago, I instilled a float in my business. So I worked out what it would take to have 3 months of operating systems for my business, so my business wouldn't die. So that's really late in the game, but I did that. So today I make consistent money monthly, and it's projected over that it will continue. So I've got some systems in place so it does continue. But I also have a buffer of that float, because I onboard clients regularly throughout the year, and I work with clients for a year, for 8 weeks, and then I have my personal customized clients too.
That's really interesting that you brought up that idea of a float, because I would imagine that a lot of people in business don't even think about that sort of thing. They're busy spending the time trying to generate the income and don't really gauge that whole cash flow thing, and therefore have that float to help them through the hard times. So that's really probably one of the most sensible business decisions you've made.
I'd have to agree. And the amount of times that I share that with business owners, because I work with entrepreneurs, and the amount of times I share that, how much does it cost to run a business per month? I'd have at least 3 months buffer. And there's so many incidental costs that we pay annually or we pay monthly without even noticing. And there's personal development, there's transformational things. Then there's systemized things like websites, insurance. They're the things that come up, accounting softwares, the applications that there's lots of
Microsoft and
exactly.
all of that sort of stuff, Apple subscriptions and so on. And people forget about that, don't they? They forget about all those ongoing costs that don't necessarily help them generate money, but they are costs around keeping a business running.
Well, I think that the operating systems need to be addressed as well in your business, because quite often we're service providers, so we're providing services, and so it's intellectual property, but that takes a system to provide it efficiently. And then you bring on consultants. So I've got an online business manager, which I pay monthly. She's part of my team. I do have ad hoc consultants that I bring in for special projects. So and then I have my own mentoring that I need as a coach, providing services. And there's layers to the cost of running the business. So being gifted and providing a service is great, and do that. But then look at your systems, because that's going to give, I find, Sarah, that has given me longevity in business.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So what splurge or luxury would you never give up?
Oh, I don't know. Oh, yeah, I'm like, I should have an answer for this. I think I have a lot of crystals around me. So probably playing with crystals and inviting new ones into my life, that would probably be one. And the other thing that I really just thought of as you asked, so crystals would be one, and just and having time would be my biggest splurge, is time for myself to regroup. And I know that's not money, but in a business, you calculate every hour that you're in a business and what capacity do you have to be of service. But having time to regroup and just come back to myself and having breathers, and probably having a lunch break daily is good.
Which many of us don't, do we?
Yeah,
get caught up in.
We're spot fires, we're putting out spot fires daily. We've got so many balls up in the air. Having a lunch break and that morning coffee.
Any more? You keep on finding some more ones for me.
I have a few, right? I thought I didn't have any, but I've over the years I've discovered that the more I look after myself, the more I am present to the service that I provide, and that's really important to me.
Yeah, definitely is important. So, what do you want to do when you retire, Maria?
This. I look at, I'm 58, so I'm at 58. I'm thinking, oh, maybe I should be thinking of retirement, but I don't see myself retiring soon. I sort of feel that I'm fulfilling my destiny by doing what I do, and I really love what I do. It motivates me to keep present and connected. I don't know. What would I do when I retire? I don't know. I think this is sort of my mission.
Perhaps doing what you do in a way that, well, it's probably not any different than what you're doing now, but I'm thinking in a way that you choose to, but you probably choose to do it the way you want to do it anyway. So
I do. I'd love to teach more women, more women how to do, like, run circles and run transformational programs, and sort of maybe do that. So step out of facilitating and really just work customized with them, but I'd still do what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's awesome. Now, just before we finish up, I was actually thinking back to some of the conversations I've had with you outside of this interview, and having learnt so much about the different sorts of jobs that you've done. So you've been a fitness instructor.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you have also...
I've taught Latin aerobics.
You've taught Latin aerobics. Wow.
And for someone who was down the back of the class and couldn't follow the instructor when I was taking, remember the aerobics days? Yeah. When I was taking aerobics classes, I could never keep up with the instructor. And then I ended up being an instructor and with a Latin flair, if you can imagine it. So you have to move your booty really quickly. And I'm like, how did I do that? And I couldn't hear the music to start with. But here's the thing. When you commit to something, you develop the skills, and eventually I got out of my own way and I could hear and lead a class. And it's so inspirational when the whole class comes together and you're doing cha-cha-chas, it's just been amazing to watch.
How interesting. And how did you come to know that you wanted to work with your spiritual business mentoring?
Well, that was interesting, because I thought that everyone had what I could see, and it wasn't until I started to teach. I was a massage therapist, and then I started to teach anatomy and physiology and pathology at a college level. And I would share what I was seeing. They go, but we can't see that. And I'm like, okay. And then I'm like, okay, there's something in this. And then people would come in and see me as a client for massage, and I would know what was happening before they came in. And I thought, well, other people could develop this skill, because we're all intuitive. We just need to develop it. Not that particular skill, but there's others. And I thought, wow, there's more to this than we see. What about if we tapped into the unseen? And my goodness, Sarah, you know that there's magic out there when we tap into that unseen as well, and that deeply felt and trusted. That spirituality comes from a deep trust. And as humans, we don't trust that inner nudge. And I'm really committed to developing my own and sharing that with others so that they can develop their own as well.
And what's been really interesting and remarkable for me in working with you is how connected that is to the business world, and how it's not just about woo-woo stuff. It's actually really connected to the way we succeed and the way we achieve in our own lives, and how it allows us the freedom to, to grow spiritually, financially, business-wise, emotionally, and everything.
Yeah, and I started to work out, if we dream and then our brain goes, get out of it, Who do you think you are? Come on. No, I'm saying dream, please dream. And then if we believed it, so embodied it with all our essence, all our selves, and then what happens? It magically appears. And if we keep doing that, and that's all I teach, really, I teach it on different levels. But if we keep doing that, it appears. And you go, how did that work?
Absolutely. And it's not really that much different to the way I teach. It's just I don't have the same tools that you do, but I still teach. If you dream it and you believe it, you can achieve it. And that applies in the way you manage your money, as well as in what you teach, in the way you manage yourself.
That's so beautiful, Sarah, because that is a scaffold. It's like I think one of my values is taking inspired action, same as you. You know, we not only have to dream it out here, it has to land here, and then we have to do something about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Well, Maria, it's been an absolute delight talking to you as ever. And I know that our viewers are going to get so much out of hearing you share your money stories. And I really encourage everyone out there to have a look at your money situation and talk about it to somebody, because there's no need to keep it hidden and a secret. The more we share about our money experiences, the more opportunity we have to help people and teach people things in life. So thank you, Maria. I look forward to seeing you soon.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for having me. Yeah, dream big.
Dream big. Absolutely.